All right, well, welcome back. It has not been that long. We just ended another week and started a new one. It is currently Sunday the 26th. I just got done doing a God, what are those things? I'm trying to remember. I legitimately don't know. I just got done doing it. It was RCQ for Modern for Magic. Interesting process. Very fun. I mean, I placed within the top 50%. Didn't do good enough to make top four, top eight, or yeah, something like that, whatever. Nonetheless, fun time. Still won pretty much most of my games that I had played. Just didn't quite make the top cut. Otherwise, part of what I wanted to do was just another update video, just as far as being here in overall North Carolina and continuing to try and move on processes and change things up, but also kind of like just to talk, because I mean stuff like this. I mean, I finally got this room set up. It is I finally got like a table, custom table. It's down here. You got a couple games on there that I just recently picked up. Did a pretty good purchase there. Still buying games, still going strong with that. I'll tell you, as far as buying anything or selling anything here, things are a lot more spread out. I have to travel a lot further and set up deals a bit further out in comparison to just having the Milwaukee County area nearby to be able to do deals and to be able to make things happen. But to say the least, what I will say on top of that specifically is it's just a whole different scape here. I mean, you have a lot more people. I feel as though buying and not necessarily wanting to sell. And I don't want to say what is a reasonable rate. I mean, a lot of people have definitely sold to me and said, hey, these are way better offers than I've got. But what I'm trying to say is there's more people also in my similar position that are trying to buy cards and trying to do that. I just got here and I have to establish myself. So one of the things that I wanted to mention, and this is for anybody that ever wants to buy or sell anything, is that one of the things that you have to take into consideration is how well are you known in the community, right? And one of the better ways to establish yourself is obviously just getting out and meeting people and kind of establishing that reputation for everybody, right? Sometimes you have to go out of your way because at the end of the day, even somebody who's been doing this as long as I have, buying and selling, trading, all that sort of stuff, I've been going on for 11 years roughly now. What I will say is putting into perspective exactly what that might look like. I think we might even be going on to 12 years. I have no idea. It's been a long time. What I will have to say, you have to establish yourself. You might have to go just because everything that you offer as far as deals, your specific rates or your specific sales, right? Not everything's as clean and cut as that. As much as you could put prices on things, as much as you could put percentages on things, it doesn't really change much as to how much you might have to reestablish yourself. And I've had to do this on a few different occasions, having moved a good amount of times. But what I will say is putting everything into that specific perspective. You have to meet people. That is the biggest thing. I keep harping on that for the very purpose that if you don't go out and meet people and you don't shoot slightly higher deals out, because the worst case scenario, you shoot your original percentage out to everybody, and you're gonna eventually you're gonna catch something, and somebody will say, yes, I'll sell for that. Um, and they're probably getting a whole bunch of low offers as it is. Maybe why has it not sold? How long has it been on marketplace? Whatever, right? And that's a big thing of establishing yourself. And I found that rather than just sticking to the cookie cutter percentage, sometimes you have to up your game a little bit more just to go and acquire the product. Go and meet somebody. And that is the biggest thing in business. As anybody knows anything, you have to pay to play. So there's two aspects of this. You have to pay to play. You don't to do business. I mean, whether you're buying a house, selling a house, freaking doing any sort of business whatsoever, you have to go out there and generally pay for the additional service to be able to do the business. That's how it happens. I mean, you don't generally expect to go into something and not having to pay something, especially if it's something the likes of, for instance, buying or selling a house, of which I'm sure if you really knew any bit of the market, it's probably you might be able to save yourself some money, but for the time and the effort. For people who have those, once again, established connections, it is a lot easier for them. Hence, they've established those connections over a period of time, and they get paid for it. Basically, it's not an easy process to sell a house, much less to buy one. So I mean, going through that, I will tell you, it's a little. I mean, it's not the worst, but it is not the easiest. Nonetheless, off that topic in its entirety, all I meant by that specific analogy was that it takes time, it takes money, and it is a process of which you have to go through in trial and error, to say the least, and it's not cookie cutter. Every area is different, every person is different, and there's a whole bunch of people, like reasons why people would sell for whatever reason at whatever percentage, if they would even do so. I mean, I just shot somebody an offer today that realistically what they were asking for everything is just outrageous. Stuff was worth about, I think, 3,400 at most. They were asking for 35, and they said that they could do 33, and I was like, okay, 33 is a great deal. If I was just some regular purchaser or whatever, knock $100 off, not the worst. But how often, one, do people walk around with that kind of money to go just purchase something like that and then make an offer as such? I made an offer of around $2,850, I think is what it was, which, I mean, in reality is not bad. I mean, majority of it was pretty much up my alley of 80%. But because it's more, it's like it's harder to justify, because in my mind, I also have to think how many people are going to walk around and want to buy this certain stuff. I mean, majority of it was in one card. It's hard to say that anything is one way or the other, but if it's not worth it for me to make that wiggle room, like they're willing to come down $200 from where they're asking and $100 from at most of what the stuff's worth. It ain't worth doing that deal. They had just posted it within 4 hours of me reaching out to them, but what I will say is it takes time. Now you're letting that resonate. And on another note, once again, everything cycles back to getting to know people, and I've had a lot of return individuals probably because they've established that connection. They know who they're dealing with. They know that it's not BS. They know that they're getting a good rate in comparison to nearly any game store. Well, pretty much every game store that they could ever go to. And then secondly, pretty much nearly any person that they could ever go to. And it's no BS. Like, I'm not trying to like lowball them. I'm just saying, hey, these are my percentages. And this is why I have the scaling system that I do. So that way, hey, you know roughly where your card or item is priced. It is a very smooth and whatever easy process for you to get the money for your item. You're already aware, and it's a system that pretty much promotes the idea of if you have a more expensive card or item, you can get more money for it. So it encourages you to sell me more expensive cards. I'm not saying I don't want to discourage you from selling me cheap cards, but I mean, a $2 card, I mean, you want me to pay 80% for that? Say, for instance, I go and throw that thing on TCG Player after shipping fees, everything. I'm losing. I'm having to pay to get rid of the card, and that's just the reality that a lot of people don't understand. A $2 card does not make sense for me to pay 80%. That's why I pay 50% for $2 to $19, and then everything up from there is a scaling system. Pretty much most of your card stores stop there, and then I add an additional 10% for every single section. I mean, there's wiggle room. If you got some really good stuff, some grails, we can probably squeeze in 5% cash or whatever on top of it. So I mean, you could probably get 85 to 90% for some of your stuff, which is more than what most pay. Either way, I mean, I find that, once again, the whole majority reason for this video is to let people know that one of the sole biggest things that has ever helped me in any business is get to know people. Sometimes you might have to pay more for it. Sometimes you might have to go out of your way for it. It just depends on the local area, and you're going to have to adjust to that. That's it. That's just that in particular reality that you have to settle with. That if you want to get into buying and selling, you're going to have to, on the occasion, give deals for the product that you have, and on the occasion, sometimes, especially if they got really good stuff, offer a little bit more than what you're willing normally based off of your rates. And then literally let's just let them know as soon as that happens to be able to, hey, well, once we meet up, I thought I'd offer you a little bit more. I do a good bit of buying and selling, and I figured I'd shoot you an offer that's above normal. So I can get to meet people in the community, meet people overall. I'm an avid collector myself. And that way, it establishes that reputation that you're just not trying to sell. You are a collector. You're in the community, so on and so forth. And it just makes a really smooth process because above all else, as much as I do this buying and selling, I love collecting. I love playing video games. I love playing Magic, and I love Pokemon. I've loved it. I've enjoyed it ever since I was like 4 or 5 years old. It's an absolute. It's nostalgic for me to be able to have what I'm staring at, as a matter of fact, because this is my China cabinet that, I mean, I call it what is New Age China, because the China that our grandparents probably told all of us to keep and say, hey, this is going to be worth a lot of money someday. Most of us don't really care about that. I care for the plastic that comes with a lot of various hardware inside of it that has thus far kind of kept its own financial stability in its own sense, in some capacity, that it's worth the money to us because it encases a lot of our childhood. And that's why, for some reason, it just goes for buku freaking dollars. But nonetheless, I'll even do just a quick turnaround here. Ooh, see, there you go. I mean, I did a previous video on TikTok, but I mean, oh yeah, can duster. It was just holding up the phone. But this is what I mean. This is what I was staring at. That is my childhood right there. Like those particular cases right there, filled with all sorts of games, DS, 3DS, Switch, pretty much nearly every single Pokemon game. Almost, not quite every single Pokemon game that can be thought of. But to say the least, this is something that I have had and wanted to have for a long time. So, I feel like most of us as children, we've had portions of this, and you go through a period of time, and this is just something that I have wanted to establish for that period of time. Nonetheless, I have till this coming Friday, which will be May 1st, that I check into my new unit. So all this will be gone. I feel kind of whatever about it. I'm just wanting to see how much I can grow before I have to actually go back to work and then go from there. But nonetheless, I mean, for those of you back in Wisconsin, especially those that were consistent and not just being a customer, but going to the shows and providing to the community and just providing the conversations. There's a lot of that I miss about Wisconsin already. I'd say when it comes down to it is the consistency of the, alcohol in a sense, because man, these ABC stores down here in North Carolina, this Bible Belt, it ain't it. But nonetheless, also at the same time, there was one other particular thing that I was missing. Game stores, man, game stores, plentiful, and so many of them within a such short radius. There's some okay ones here, but in comparison to what Milwaukee or Greater Milwaukee and various, I guess you could consider Waukesha area to have, they don't come into comparison. But I did run into one person at one of the game stores that actually noticed the Mana Vault jersey that I was wearing, and that was just great because they're like, I got this like brother, family member, or whatever out of the Chicago area, and they go there consistently. So I'm like, oh, cool. And I was able to establish, just I don't want to say a friendship yet with that individual, but just a connection. And that's like one of the biggest things that, like, once again, circling back to this whole video, and the whole purpose of it is establish the connection. Regardless, I mean, there's tons of people in this community that are just like myself, that aren't scalpers, that aren't just looking for a quick buck. I mean, I've enjoyed the whole buying and selling because it provides me something that I just showed you, which is all this stuff that I have in this wonderful case. And it's just, I do this for fun. There's people who do this for a living. I could not. I'd rather not. It's terrible. But for those of you that do, more power to you, and keep the hustle up. And hopefully you enjoy what you do at some point. My suggestion to anybody else, though, get an actual job. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. If this is what you do and you actually do really well at it, fantastic. But get an actual job and then do this on the side. It's more fun that way, and it's a lot more enjoyable. You're not worrying where the next buck is coming from. Nonetheless, we're approaching 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the video off there. But what I will say is, hopefully, we all meet again at some point, and the conversations continue in a very good mannerism. Like, share, comment on the video. Just trying to establish a little bit more reputation within the social media aspect of things, and if everything works out, it works out. Otherwise, I'm just continuing on the Midwest goodbye. It all stuck with me too long and too quick. Nonetheless.